What's up, y'all? It's your boy, Reserve Deck Nick, back again with another deck review. Believe it or not, I haven't done this yet because this is a season 2 deck. This is my up-to-date Volcania deck that I use every week when I play. Now, the only thing missing here is I think I might start running a mercenary. I'm not quite sure, but if I do, it'd be Zephyr or the one that KOs a unit costing 4 or less, Doc something, whatever. Those two I'm considering running, just kind of figuring out the who's in and who's out. So that being said, this is obviously a Volcania deck. One second. Excuse me. Okay, so Volcania, boom, whatever. Y'all know how she works. Basically, she has the same thing everybody else has: attacks, generate focus, prevent. Instead of her having a heal, she has a prevent one. So, and then also she has one where in main you can discard focus to gain +1 attack. So, that's it. Same as every other commander, bada bing, bada boom. Let's do units first. Yep, I'm running 3 Thoms. Good first turn taunt unit. On KO, you can draw a focus. Frederick, another good first turn unit. And you can also use him for shield. He's a 3/3, and he shields for 2. Then we've got, let me see if that's all the, yeah, that's all the 1 cost. Then we've got Lena. This is such a good going second card. And I'll explain why later on. But anyway, she's like the Alice of the place. Like, she's the 2 cost 4/4, shields for 2, just a great unit. Then we've got a couple 3 costs here. Oh shoot, I forgot I have a different 1 cost, but I'll get into the other 1 cost later on. We've got Gavinus and we've got Gisla. So the reason I'm running Gisla right now, but only 2 of her, is that she has burn. So when she's KO'd, she deals 1 damage to the enemy commander. That's really important, and I'll explain why later. And then we're also running 2 of Gavinus. These are just good units that, like, I go wide. Like, I like having those units on the board. This is who I'd be considered cutting for the mercenaries, but we'll see. It's good that he ignores shields, not bad. And then also I'm running Talia Lightfall. So she is such a good 3 cost, which is why you can only run 2 of her and why I'm running 2. But she is so good. So on play, you can not KO, but target spell or ability is discarded. So that's like Iron Fur, Blood Jar, other good removal that you want. And then she also has, when attacking a unit, target unit is afflicted with shock. So basically it doesn't ready on its next turn. That's if it lives. But this is a great way to lock down enemy Celestials that have attacked or haven't attacked. Well, they have to have attacked. So it's a good way to lock down those Celestials, as well as you can sacrifice her to heal too. So if you think she's going to die, just sacrifice her anyways. All right. Then I will show the 4 costs. So we've got this Apothecary Adeline. This is just a great, defensive unit. If you're in danger of dying, on play, she heals you too. And then she can also rest to intercept attacks. So she's really good. All right, then we're running our 2 6 costs. One we're running a couple. We're running 3 now, actually. Master Ezekiel is good for one of the reserve weapons that I'll show you later. But basically, he's also running burn. He also has trample. And so, he also has the on play. You can discard a focus to summon a unit costing 2 or less from your discard. So really good synergy with my 1/2 costs. I'll explain why later. And then we're also running this guy. Don't know how to say his name. Never have. Never will. But he gives Volcania an extra attack. So just getting him out on the turn, and then let's say I'm Evo 1 or 2. Now I'm hitting for 5, 6, maybe even 7 with my buff. You know what I mean? So pretty strong. And then also has burn. Also has trample. And if you know, burn and trample, 1 extra damage when you KO a unit, burn 1 damage to the commander when KO'd. Also has this Berserker ability. You can return the 10 cards from your discard to ready him. So basically, he swings for 12. If you don't win the game, if this guy lives, I don't know. You're doing something wrong. Anyways, then we'll get into the 3 new type of cards that I'm running that are what I think the bread and butter of this deck. So we've got the Firebrand Squire, which has haste, burn, and trample. Brand new 12th army unit from set 2 is a 1 cost. Obviously, you can't really do much with him on turn 1 or 2 since you can't attack, but it's still good to get him out. The only downside is that they do have this ability called Burnout, where when you attack, a focus is moved from your resource to underneath them, and then they don't ready up if they have focus attached. So they have haste, but it's kind of like a kind of a nerf to the haste, where they can only they can only hit every other turn, or they can only attack once and then they have to wait. Firebrand Knight, running 2 of him. Again, haste, burn, trample. He's just a 5-drop haste unit where, again, he doesn't ready up that first time. I'm just starting to run Uma, the Firebrand Captain, which would take all 6 of my energy. But how it works is that if you get her out, on attack, you can return a focus attached to a different unit. She also generates a focus under herself. But how that works is, like, let's say my Firebrand Knight survives, right? And then I attack with him again. He now has another focus on it. I play her the next turn. Boom. He now will ready up in the next upkeep. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like a... Anyways, you get the point. We're running Xeric, sorry. I'll explain why later, because there's so much text on this guy. It is ridiculous. Spells and abilities. We're running a lot of cheap, quick, boom, boom, boom damage just to push kills or just get damage through. We're running Flames, 2 flames, plus 2 damage, 1 damage to enemy commander, generates a focus. We're running Protective Shield, prevent 2 damage, deal 1 damage to enemy commander, generate a focus. Flame Shield, prevent 1 damage, draw a card, generate a focus. And then we're also running, we're just going to go abilities first here. No, we'll just go through. We're running 2 Infernos, KOs a unit costing 4 or less. This is obviously for Celestials, like I mentioned before. We're running Decapitator, KOs an enemy unit. Low Blow, this nulls a unit for a whole turn. I'm running 2 right now, but I think I'm going to start running 3. Ashes, I don't think I've ever used Ashes other than to discard, because it's rare that I want something from my graveyard, but you never know. There is some interaction with that. Lava Fields, this is just a board wipe if I'm really down bad, but usually I use it as discard. Pacifying Light, this is really good into those aggro decks, so you get to choose one of either of these abilities. So target unit with a 4 cost or less with haste can't attack. That has saved me so many times. You have no idea. Or target unit does -2 damage. Combustion, this is just a buff, plus 3 damage, and enemy commander discards a resource. Really good to push that through. And Firefly. Usually, I use this as a trap, but you can use it if you have a lot of focus. I don't find that I have enough focus to like play it where you can like discard X focus and then heal 1 for each discarded. But in theory, you could heal up to 7 with this. I think it's better as a trap where you can rest and remove and prevent 2, only because you can catch people off guard, right? Because it's face down. For the cores, I'm running the standard prevent 1 attack, ready 2 energy, and then I'm just running Golem cores. Why, you might be asking? I'm glad you asked. Let's jump right into the reserve deck. We're running the Tide and True Axe here. This is so strong for Volcania early game. You get that trample on every KO, the +1, and then late game you can rest and remove it to give her that +3, which just makes her attack devastating for one of them at least. Then I'm also running Heavenfall, which goes well with Master Ezekiel. That's what I'm saying. If I get him out, I'll probably bring this out. Otherwise, I probably won't, because it has a really good rest and remove where excess damage done is dealt to the enemy commander, up to 4. That's insane. If you go after a low health unit with Volcania, for example, it's broken. Brimstone Armor, just a really, really good armor late game because you can rest, like it's got the standard prevent 1 damage, but it also has rest and remove +1 armor for the whole turn. So when you're playing those aggro decks, Keshi, Satin, for example, even the Necromancer, Vindus, this is such a good card to have late game where you basically -1 every single attack for a whole turn. pair that with, some shielding or whatnot, and, you're pretty safe. We'll skip over Night's Fall for a second. Phoenix Keep is, in my opinion, the most important battlefield to run it for this deck. 12th Army units with burn deal like 1 extra. Sorry, units with burn deal 1 extra, and then all 12th Army units have burn. And then it has a secondary effect where each time a 12th Army unit is KO'd, put a focus under here, and then you can tap it up to a 3 focus, or put it back, and then you can summon a unit equal to the amount of focus that were under there. So if you only had 1 focus and you tap it, you could summon something like Frederick for free. But if you had 3, for example, then you could summon, I don't know, Talia or Gisela for free from your hand. The 2 feats I run are Firestorm and Immortal Flames. I pretty much run them back to back. So like one turn, I'm playing Firestorm. Then probably the next turn, I'm playing Immortal Flames to try and like lock the game down. Firestorm, your enemy, like the enemy commander, cannot ready their energy. And then Immortal Flames, Volcanic cannot be lowered past 1 health. They basically go hand in hand if you have a way to play them back to back. Then the last 2 reserve deck cards I run are Army Unification, which when you play it, you put 4 focus underneath it, and then each turn you pay a focus. That's just how its ongoing thing works. But what it gives is Valrakian units count as both 5th Army and 12th Army, and then your units with phase have burn, and then your units with burn have phase. That goes well with Night's Fall, which you can rest to pay the cost for phase. How that works, how it works in my head, I haven't executed it quite yet, but how it works is it's one of the playstyles I think could help win a game, where if let's say you have Army Unification out, you play a Firebrand Squire, a Firebrand Knight, or Uma, whatever that might be, you get haste, you attack, and then you phase it out with either one of the Golem cores from your down here, or any other 12th Army unit that you may have phased down, because they have phase. So you get that haste unit out, and it doesn't burn out, right? Because it's going back to the energy field, and then something else will come out and swing for 4, well, 6 would be a little too difficult, but like, you see what I mean? You can get around that phase mechanic where you are then, you can get around the burnout mechanic by phasing it. I haven't been able to successfully do it yet, but that's one of my win cons. My other win con is using Xeric, where his effects that deal non-combat damage deal 1 more. What that means is, while I have out Phoenix Keep, every 12th Army unit that dies does 1 burn, but then 2 burn because of Xeric. So your opponent has the choice. Either leave my low cheap units on the field to keep chipping out 2, 3, 4, 2, 4 damage, or KO them and then take more damage. And then especially when the Firebrand Squire and Knight die, they already have burn. And then according to Phoenix Keep, they now do 2 burn. But then according to Xeric, they actually do 3 burn. So you, as the enemy commander, invest resources to killing my units and then take up to 3 damage for that. That's been the way I've been winning games lately, whereas I get my wide board, I swing with them, I can either Immortal Flames to force the enemy commander to take me down to 1, which whatever, then you've just, then they can't attack me, or if they do, nothing happens. Or 2, they kill my units, they take extra damage, they let me set up other units. I can even keep my units alive if I want to with Protective Flames. That's why I named it Blink and Burn, because you have the option to either burn your opponents to death, or in-game, or blink your units into your energy field and then just, keep them alive. So those are the 2 win cons I'm going for it. This is a very recent updated version of my deck. I didn't actually have Xeric in until this week, but I've had relatively good success against most matchups except for Satin. I struggle to keep up with Satin just because she has a lot of ways to keep her big units alive, and I don't really have that many big units, or my units hit for less but more, if that makes sense. Like, I can have more units cheaply, but they don't hit for very hard. So it's kind of a give or take. But yeah, that's my deck that I am playing week in and week out. And I know that Volcania is typically not revered as very strong right now, but I think it's more about the pilot than the plane, if that makes sense. If you're good at the game and you understand what to hold up, what to play, I think that you can do well. And yeah, that's my deck. That's my deck review of my own deck. If you want me to review your deck, or you have a cool deck that you think has a hot take on the meta, ping me in Discord. My name's Athenic in the Discord, and I would love to review it. If you want to send it to me, that'd be great. So yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Hopefully this made sense. It's hard to review your own deck when you know how you play, because you start to think about all the things that you do when you're playing, and then you're like, wait, do I do that? Or admitting I've never actually gotten army unification to work, but I really, really want to, and I will. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys next week. Have a good weekend.